All right, let's talk about a problem that, let's be honest, drives pretty much every software developer crazy. Today, we're going to look at a totally new way of thinking about our code, not as some tangled mess, but as a massive city that's just begging for a master architect to make sense of it all.
So let's start with a question I know you've asked yourself, probably at 2 a.m. while staring at a broken build. You make one tiny, seemingly harmless change, and the whole thing just implodes. How? Why does that keep happening?
Well, the answer is actually kind of simple and a little bit scary. It's because we've built these enormous, sprawling digital cities, but we did it with no city planner. We just kept adding new buildings wherever we could find space without ever thinking about, the plumbing or the power grid holding it all together. And this total lack of a master plan leads us straight into what you could call the code-base chaos. This isn't some abstract idea. It's the daily headache for so many dev teams trying to navigate these accidental cities they've built. I mean, think about it, right? Our code bases are so complex now, no single person can possibly hold the whole thing in their head. So any big change means getting tons of people in a room to coordinate. Even the best AI assistants we have today, they don't get the big picture. They're like a lone construction worker who only knows about the one brick they're supposed to lay. And all those hidden connections, they're like unmarked gas lines buried underground, just waiting for you to start digging. But what if? What if we could finally bring in that master architect? Well, that's the whole idea behind a brand new class of system. It's called ICATOS. That's short for Intelligent Code Analysis and Task Orchestration System. And this, right here, this comparison just nails the difference in scale. Your typical AI coding assistant, that's your construction worker, totally focused on their one little task. ICATOS, on the other hand, it's the entire city planning commission. It doesn't just see the brick, it sees the building, the street, the neighborhood, and the whole city grid. So let's get specific. What is it? ICATOS is an intelligent system that creates a digital twin of your software. Think of it like a perfect, living, breathing model of your entire codebase. It uses this model to think and to plan, basically running simulations of changes before a single line of real code is ever touched. So how does this thing actually work? It's not magic. It follows a really clear three-phase plan, just like a real-world architect would. First, you understand the terrain. Then, you create the blueprint. And finally, you oversee the construction. Let's see how that works with code. So those are the three key steps: analysis, planning, and execution. Or, using our metaphor, understand, plan, and build. Let's kick things off with understanding the city. Step 1. Deep analysis. This is where it surveys the land. ICATOS scans everything: your front end, your back end, your mobile app, all of it. And it's not just reading the text, it's actually understanding the meaning, the business logic, the architectural patterns. And what it produces is this incredible knowledge graph, a true complete map of your entire digital city. Okay, so once it has that perfect map, it moves into the planning phase. This is where the system creates the official blueprint. It can generate these super clear diagrams that show you exactly how everything connects, from what the user sees all the way down to the database. And these blueprints are so good, they're what it uses to guide the actual work in the next step. And finally, you get to orchestrated execution. Now, the architect doesn't lay the bricks itself. What it does is take that master blueprint and break it down into tiny, manageable tasks. It then hands each little task off to a specialized AI agent, giving it only the exact context it needs. And here's the genius part. For every single step, it runs a quality assurance loop. It runs tests, it checks the code style, it looks for bugs, and only when everything passes does it move to the next step. Okay, so I know what you might be thinking right now. With all this automation, where do we, the human developers, fit into this picture? Is the AI just taking over? No, not at all. This whole system is built around collaboration. It's actually smart enough to know what it doesn't know. So if its confidence on a certain task is low, or if tests just keep failing, or if it hits a major fork in the road, it stops. It pauses and asks a human for consultation, laying out the problem and the options. It's a true human-in-the-loop system. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but what does this look like in the real world? Let's talk about what you can actually do with this and the kind of impact it can have. So the architect can handle the stuff that usually causes the most pain. You can just ask it to add a new feature, and it'll plan and build the whole thing. Or you can tell it to remove some old legacy feature, and it'll do it safely,
like a surgeon removing a building without touching the surrounding infrastructure. It can even take a bug report, figure out the root cause, and then implement the fix with tests to prove it's solved.
And the results? They are pretty staggering. The headline number is a 70% reduction in the time it takes to implement complex changes. Just let that sink in for a second. 70%. That completely transforms a team's ability to innovate and actually build what their customers want.
And you can really see the difference here. The old way of doing a big feature, it's a long, tangled, risky mess. The ICATOS way, with the master architect guiding everything, is just on another level of speed and safety. When you zoom out, you start to realize this is about way more than just a new tool. It's pointing toward a fundamental shift in how we build software and what it even means to be a developer. It's a shift from being a coder to being a designer.
There's this quote from the people behind this system that I think just perfectly captures the whole philosophy. It says, "This represents a system that thinks about code the way an experienced architect thinks about a city." It's all about that holistic, big picture understanding.
So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Tools like ICATOS don't replace developers, they elevate them. They take care of the tedious, dangerous work, the bricklaying and the plumbing. And they free up humans to become the chief designers, the ones who get to focus on creativity and on the grand vision for the entire city.
And that really leaves us with one final big question to chew on. If AI takes on the role of the master architect, meticulously managing the structure and the foundation of our digital worlds, what incredible, complex, and beautiful new marvels will we, the human designers, finally be free to imagine and create?